Welcome back, everybody, and today we are doing the first of our new painting series, our childhood trauma painting series, and we are going to be building a diorama of a scene from the NeverEnding Story. Yes, that scene.
You gotta move or you'll die! Move, please!
Everybody excited now? All right, let's go. The figure is a 3D print from Dragon Trapper's Lodge, and I want to mention that this is actually a 28mm scale miniature that I blew up to about 300%. When you do that, some of the details get a little bit soft. Treyu's jaw is looking a little bit Robert Zadari, for example. Starting off with Atreyu's skin, I am using, as usual, our Vallejo Model Color Beige Red. Ignore the paint that's already on the miniature. I was experimenting with a few different colors, but we are going to start with our base coat color and then give it a very thin wash of Model Color Cavalry Brown. The reason I'm going this route is because we don't have a whole lot of shading and highlighting we need to do for this miniature. We can go with the base coat and wash here because we are painting a somewhat large-scale 12-year-old boy. We don't have a whole bunch of bulging muscles that we need to shade and highlight, and as we go up in scale, we can decrease the amount of contrast used on a miniature. From here, we can return to our beige red, very thin this time, and smooth out the skin. Again, notice not a huge amount of areas here where we need to keep a whole lot of shadow. There's no bulging biceps or anything like that. So we're going to have basically smooth tubes of flesh on the arms, a little bit of shadow in the face. Much more of the highlighting is going to be there as well. Changing up my normal highlighting recipe just a wee bit. This time we are adding pale sand to our beige red, and I'm going to highlight this a total of 3 times, adding more pale sand each time. Now remember, very little muscle definition on the arms, so they are going to get highlighted probably just once, and then the second and third highlights are going to work out towards a few areas that stick out, like the knuckles, but a majority of the highlighting will be happening on the face, where we have far more contours to highlight. Also, just a note right now, because it will be an issue later on in this video, this is the first full video I did with my brand new camera, and it's going to take a while to break it in. Also, this is a very poor subject to try to record on video because of the 2 figures that are spaced apart. Very difficult for the camera to figure out where and what to focus upon. So our highlighting and shading is pretty much done, but we still want to add some color to the skin by using a glaze of brown sand. Remember, glaze, very, very thin layer of paint, basically colored water. And this is going to add a tint of color to our skin, and it's also going to smooth out the rough spots. We do have a larger scale figure here, so it's more likely to be brush strokes, so adding a few glazes here and there helps to smooth things out. For shadowed areas where I need a little bit more definition, using, once again, Cavalry Brown, this time glazing it on into the recesses. And then in any deep areas where we need extra shade around the chin and in the eyes, mixing in some charred brown with that. Moving on to the tunic, and base coated that with Model Color Flat Earth, and now applying a wash of Model Color Flat Brown to that. Basically the same thing that we did with the skin. Put on the base coat, add the wash, and then reapply the base coat as a layer. For our highlights, starting off with Game Color Leather Brown, which I lost the footage to. Again, new camera. And then second and third highlights, taking that leather brown and adding buff to it. Now, unlike with the skin, we have a whole bunch of wrinkles on the tunic, so that calls for a little bit more contrast than what we had on, for example, the arms. Arturo's hair is a very, very dark brown, and to keep that dark color, we are only going to base coat and highlight. So a base coat of camo black brown, and then one highlight using model color burnt umber, following the direction of the hair, concentrating the highlights around the crown of the head. On to Artax, and for him we are starting with a shadow coat of Game Color Cold Gray, and then for our highlighting process to begin it, we are using Game Color Stonewall Gray mixed with white. To apply this, we are mostly going to be using a stippling method. He does have a little bit of a dappled appearance, so I didn't want a pure white horse. I wanted a little bit of texture in there, so a bit of stippling, bit of layering, so we get a little bit of variety of colors. The mane, I painted with the same colors that I used on the skin, concentrating more on just the pure white though. And then to just make it look a little bit different than the skin, I gave it a very thin wash of model color buff. And then harness and reins were painted the same way as Arturo's hair. For the dark coloring around the muzzle, started off with an extremely thin coat of camo black brown, pretty much a glaze. Slowly built up that color, so we have a smooth transition between our white and our very near black. Once that color starts to build up, you can use a thicker and thicker coat of camo black brown to build up the color, make it more opaque, and then mix in a little bit of black as well, so we get that very nice dark muzzle. And just to note, the harness and reins were painted the same way as Arturo's hair. And look, a cat. Time to build our swamp, and for that we are going to be using a very tiny picture frame. Picture frames make great bases for building dioramas. I have a few different sizes and decided to go with the smallest option, which is 3x4. It's a little bit tight, but I felt the other ones just left too much blank space, so we're going to go for our mini frame. To make our swamp, we are going to be using a few different ingredients, starting off with the base, which is Liquitex Gloss Gel, adding a whole bunch of that to a bowl. To that, we are going to be adding some static grass as well as some gravel for texture. We then add a whole bunch of FW black ink, as well as a little bit of Vallejo sepia ink, and then just mix until smooth. Next step is to just smear on our swamp. Doing this right over the glass, basically what we have here is a big pile of glue, so we can do that right onto the glass, put down a thick layer, and then I just set the miniatures into place. Didn't even glue those into place, allowing the Liquitex to hold them into place, but kind of left an opening for them and then moved in the swamp material using a brush. Next, we add some branches. These are actually just plant roots that I painted with camo black brown. Again, don't have to glue them down. We have a big pile of glue here, so just press them into place, add a little bit of swampy water to blend them in. Now, my plan was to be done at this point. However, the two empty ends of the diorama seemed a little bit boring, and I wanted to add a bit more texture. Decided to go with much more grass texture, but mixing more static grass into my swampy goo didn't quite work the way I wanted to. I needed a thinner material, so instead of using the Liquitex gloss gel, I used the ever wonderful Pledge Floor Care, aka Future Floor Wax. Mixing that with our two inks and our static grass allowed me to spread out our grass much easier and much finer. Double checking my reference material, I realized that the swamp in the movie is basically just colored water, so I wanted a bit of a smoother surface, especially between our two characters. So to smooth it out, I am just putting down drops of Pledge Floor Care to make that area look a little bit more liquidy. I've also used this method before to make small pools of water on bases. If you do that, just make sure that you seal the surface first, because if you put this on something porous, it will seep in and ruin your base. "24 hours later, everything is dry and we are almost done. We do need to use our glossy Pledge Floor Care one more time to add the tears of a child. Damn, that's cold even for me. And there we go, all finished. A kind of a 3-day project of a very memorable scene for any child of the 80s. As I mentioned during the video, I am using a new camera right now. My old one died after 5 years, and I just want to give a shout out and thank you to my Patreon supporters, some of who you see at the end of every video. Their financial support allowed me to get a new camera rather than possibly shutting down the channel, so thank you very much. If you want to support me on Patreon, that's great, thank you very much. If not, there's always the liking and subscribing. I know everybody says that in their videos, but it does help. And especially since I tend to do more kind of oddball projects like this, any sort of promotion that you could help me with would help greatly. So that is it for now. Thank you very much. Can you guess what the next project will be in our childhood trauma series? Put it below. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
The fun never stops when you're clean and tidy.